Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since doing this setup. Hope you guys like it. Today's video is going to be about truth hurts. Ever since exploring so much on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, it's very overwhelming, but I've come into a closer clarity in terms of the kind of contents that I want to put out. So just a quick announcement. Those of you who probably, if you're not following me on Instagram, on TikTok, I actually make an announcement where I wouldn't focus so much on style tips, fashion lessons, because I want to dedicate that exclusively for Stylified, which is the community that I'm currently building. If you want to pursue your style development journey, wanting to know how to make fashion work for you, do follow Stylified, whether it's TikTok or Instagram. You will get a lot of tips already from there. So today's video focuses really about truth hurts. So this is the series that I've decided to pin at least for the end of 2024 to 2025, depending on when I release this video. So what this series is all about is going to be under the playlist called Life Lessons. So essentially, these are things that I picked up along the way during deep conversation with people who are close to me. I got insights, inspiration, and thought, hey, it's changed my perspective on things. It's helped me in some way. Or maybe going through certain obstacles in life, I've gathered useful insights or tips. I think it's all about giving back to how YouTube has helped me along my journey when I first started out. I've learned a lot of things from different creators, different influencers, and so I thought it's important to give back. Today's video is about the 5 key points I've picked up from a book I recently finished, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So this book, when I first saw it, I thought it was just all about money, and back then it wasn't a topic of interest. Little did I know that this book is so much more impactful. It's not just about manifesting money, it's the whole works about manifestation at a different level. I like how this book is very practical, because there are some books that I've read, it can get pretty intense in terms of its abstractness, the storytelling. But this book, although it's thick, focuses a lot on practical steps that you can act on immediately to put into place whatever you've learned. Where's my book? This is the book. Amazing cover. There are 5 key points, and for those of you who really want an in-depth version, I highly suggest this book, but it's going to take a while to go through, because although it's a small book, it's pretty thick. I think for myself, I really make it a point that I go through every single part and do a recap or a review with my own notes. I know that if I don't do that and I just read through for the sake of reading, most of the time I will not remember exactly what are the lessons from there and how I can actually apply, or what is like my own interpretation of it. I think that's extremely important when you're trying to swallow books. The first thing I want to talk about is the power of desire. We all know that manifestation is about knowing what you want, being able to visualize what you want, and really putting all your energy into focusing about what you want. So what you want is desire. Desire can often be interpreted in a very negative way, because people think that, ooh, you desire something so much. I think desire is a word that links to passion. Passion is often seen as a positive word. So passion itself just means that this drive, this insatiable hunger that you have. I can see why people see this can be negative, because when you do whatever it takes to get something, especially if it's something that is not good for you, it can be seen as negative. But in this context, it's more about having a goal and pursuing it relentlessly. No matter what it is, I'm going to keep my eyes on the goal, right? It doesn't change. I think, which is why they refer it to a burning desire. It's that passion that you have for something. So it needs to be so strong. The word desire is filled with a lot of emotion that it camouflages or I would say eliminate the fears and the obstacles. It's no matter what comes my way, I'm going to get it. So there's a saying, true desire is never vague. It is not something that when you tell people what you want and people see as, oh, okay, yeah, but how are you going to get there? Like, it's not specific. In Think and Grow Rich, the key things that I took away was having desire is one thing, having that burning passion for it is one thing. But when you want something, you have to be very clear about it. What does that look like exactly in a very concrete way? Let me give you an example. Often we have the desire of wanting to feel good or wanting to be healthy. So that is a desire. It's usually a goal for people. I want to feel healthy. I want to feel good. But it's so broad. Like, it could mean so many things. Does that mean you can run? Does that mean you can lift heavy weights? Does that mean you can breathe easily? It's like to get very visceral and detailed about what feeling healthy or good means. Those are very generic words that encompass many things, but in order for manifestation to work, it needs to be extremely detailed. Having desire is the seed of action, and this is where you plant the seed of, okay, this is my goal, right? Let's say your broad goal or your desire is financial freedom. That is, I think, a lot of people's desire, financial freedom. Who doesn't want that? But what does financial freedom looks like to you? What is going to be your income exactly? Where's your passive income coming from? In how many years you're going to start achieving that? I think it is like breaking down the details that pressurizes a lot of people. It's very easy for you to just say, this is what I want. But when people ask you exactly what, that is where it becomes difficult. But the difficult part is where the goal is. The power of wanting something, having desire, it's the first step to what Think and Grow Rich is all about, which is the key to manifestation. This is where your deepest aspiration is going to come from for your successes in future, planting the seed. Now, the second thing is faith and visualization. Knowing what you want, which is desire, is one thing, but then having the right mindset, putting it in the right ecosystem in your frame of mind is going to be that network to making your desire come into reality. So having unwavering faith, what does that mean? It means that you have such a belief that even if everybody around you tells you that your desire is unrealistic, it doesn't make sense, and people start doubting you, you wouldn't doubt yourself. You wouldn't easily fall for what people think because they are not you. They don't have your exact desire and they don't see the things that you see. Coupling it with visualization, which links back to my first point. Having desire without being able to imagine it in a concrete way is not going to be complete. If you are able to visualize what you want, but you have no faith that it's going to happen, and I think, speaking from experience, faith is not something easy, of course. And it's so easy for people to say things like, just have faith, believe in yourself. Like, okay, but are you doing things to make it believable? Are you building evidence for you to believe and have faith that you are actually becoming the person you want? Do you have a plan? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have all the practical solution that is going to make your I have faith make sense? I think that is going to be very important. So what are some practical ways for you to cultivate this belief system? I think one downfall is that people sometimes don't have faith because they set goals that are so out there that they cannot find other ways to break it down into small practical steps. They shoot too high, too fast, and then instead of it being like aspirational, it becomes totally unrealistic. One thing that I took away from this is that although it can explain to you beautifully on how to manifest and visualize, have faith, desire, but if you don't have the mindset of, you know what, I'm actually going to try this out. I may fail, but I'm going to try again. If you don't have this mentality of improvisation, of wanting to see progress, but accepting the fact that you can take all these theories and try to apply it, but it might fail, but it's what you're going to do after that. It's going to keep it going. I think that is where most people break. They are not consistent. So all this that I share with you wouldn't mean anything if you don't have a consistent progressive mindset. And then last but not least, I'm going to split this into part 2 because there's quite a few things to share. I know that I was supposed to talk about 5 points, but I'm going to close it with the 3rd point and leave the 4th and the 5th for part 2. So stay tuned to that. So the 3rd one would be, this is something kind of a new word, but I've heard of the concept before in other books. It's called auto-suggestion and affirmation. So what is auto-suggestion? This is actually a practice where you are using the process of affirmations on a repeated basis that is going to program your subconscious mind. A technique where you teach your mind to align with what you have faith in, what you desire, and who you're trying to become. So this can look like repetitions of affirmation. One of the most concrete way is there are a lot of apps out there. Technology is amazing. You will be able to follow through some guided meditation or affirmation where it could be as simple as just repeating on a daily basis at a specific time or wherever it fits into your schedule. Most importantly, that it is consistent. Let's say you are not a very confident person, but you want to be a confident person. So you would have a sentence that you can repeat on a daily basis that eventually your subconscious is not going to be able to tell the difference, right? It's fake it until you make it. I know that some people don't like this particular sentence, but essentially it's what that is doing. So, for example, you would say things like, I'm confident no matter what I do. There are some pretty famous ones that I've got to know. Example, I'm a wonderful being full of promise. It works for people who are insecure at a dark phase of their life. I myself have gone through certain experiences where you doubt yourself so much and you're like, I'm going through imposter syndrome. I don't think I'm good at this. So you see, we are so good at criticizing ourselves, but we are not great at auto-suggestion. Like, why can't you say good things about yourself and believe in it? It's human nature. I think that's why our shadow exists, to teach us to appreciate the better parts of us. Auto-suggestion, affirmation is not just overrated and repeated by many of the mental health gurus, but it is actually something that's worked. Neuroscience talks about it. I will not go in depth about the scientific methods because I'm not an expert in that. But what I know is if you repeat to yourself positive things long enough, your subconscious mind is going to be programmed. And you will start to see that your behaviors, the way you perceive things is going to start aligning with that. Okay guys, so let me know out of these 3 that I've just covered, where first thing is the power of desire, and then having faith and being able to couple it with visualization, and finally auto-suggestion, which is affirmation. Have you tried any of this? How did it work for you? Which one worked the best in your experience? If you have any further comments that you want to add on that is going to help the other people who are watching this video, I think it's going to do a lot of good. Thank you guys for watching and stay tuned to part 2.